All right, here we go. My name is John. We're welcome back to the Travel and Tracksuits channel. It's the opening day of Major League Baseball season. It's 55, well, it's actually probably like 45 degrees here in Pennsylvania. It's sunny, and we're going to talk about the one thing you can do tonight to get better at your baseball swing. For simplicity purposes, I'm going to break the swing down into two components. One is everything before getting on time to the hitting position. After the hitting position, that's your swing. So the swing is not what we're going to talk about today. The swing is what you're going to get better at by taking reps, your flip work, your BP work, any extra swings you get. That's getting your playing pepper, your eye-hand coordination. But what we're gonna talk about though is how to be on time and the importance of being on time. And I know you've heard this over and over. People talk about being on time, but I'm gonna actually explain to you what it actually means. So the biggest error I see of most amateurs and even a lot of professionals make is they don't start on time. And I think that stems from here in the United States, the way we teach hitting, we teach with a very light bat. We use a lot of machines, we use a lot of tees. So what this happens, it causes us to be static. When you're 9 years old and you're facing a guy throwing really hard, you want to put the ball in play. So guys learn to just take the bat to the ball, and they're able to because the bat is very light. But what we need to do to play baseball at a higher level, when the bats get heavier, we get to -3s, we get to wood, we have to be able to create and generate energy. So like if I was throwing a punch and I wanted to knock somebody out, maybe not just a jab to get them, I wouldn't go from here. I would load into my back hip and then I would throw it. Load, throw it. So when you give a kid too heavy of a bat, they actually intuitively gather energy like a rubber band, then they let it go. And that's how we learn to hit the ball hard and attack. But what happens here in the United States, guys want to win at such an early age. They're using light bats, they're using tee work. There's no rhythm, there's no timing. The pitchers are throwing too hard for what they're capable of doing. So then they get to where they're 13 and they've used -10s all the time and they're throwing a -3 in their hand. And all of a sudden they can't compete anymore and baseball becomes not fun. So if we don't learn how to gather energy, we're really not going to be able to do our best to hit the ball. I'll give you a couple examples of this at the big league level, that there was guys that were just so talented. A guy named Joey Bautista. So I played with Joey, I was in Pirates minor league camp. I was in minor league camp with him. I guess he was in big league camp and back down in minor league camp in the early 2000s. And good dude, we played poker the one night, and he was a really nice guy. And everybody was like, dude, you're a stud, you got a cannon, you got power. He was playing third base at the time, and he did. That's why he was viewed as a prospect. So fast forward a couple years, he's in the big leagues. He's had some seasons where he's hit 14 to 16 home runs. He's now a big league regular. He gets to Toronto. There's an interview you can look up on YouTube. He talks about where all these coaches have told him over the years, slow and early, start on time. And he never understood what that meant. So he said to himself in one game, he's like, I'm just going to start super early. And I'd like, screw these coaches. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm just going to start goofy early. Like the guy's not even moving yet and I'm going to load. And he did. And the game slowed down. The next year he hit 54 home runs. So this was a guy who was already a big league regular, and he really didn't understand how to be on time. He learned how to be on time in the big leagues. That's what most people don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things in hitting, and some of you players out there, you might have loft problems, and I'll tell you what that is later. But talent can get you a long way, and strength can get you a long way. But we can learn to hit the right way. Derek Jeter, for example. Derek Jeter actually didn't hit with any timing his whole career. Derek Jeter was just such a good athlete, and his swing, the second part, was very good. He stayed inside the ball, he was at a perfect place for him, and he hit for a high average. But at age 38, he started to get beat his 36, 37-year-old year. So if you watch his clips from his 38-year-old year, where I believe he hit 316, I don't know, you can look it up, 320. It was one of the best years he ever had and it was at 38. He actually started loading early on time. Because if you watch early Derek Jeter, his hands were kind of static, kind of like Paul Malter. They're the only two that kind of ever hit this way in the big leagues. And he would just stay inside and shoot the ball the other way. At 38, he started loading early, slow. He got to the hitting position and he had a great year. So that shows you that there's guys, I mean, these guys, you can overcome some deficiencies in your timing, but to be the most efficient, we want to load early and be on time. So like there's certain guys like Shohei Ohtani, they intuitively know how to load early, or Jackson Holiday. So what they did when they were growing up, they're loading super early, but they had to slow themselves down because their bat speed is so good, they were so quick. So what they would do at the early age is have the big leg kick. Ohtani in Japan, Holiday here in the States up until he got to the big leagues. But once they got to the big leagues and the velocity is 95 to 100, now what they had to do is they had to tone it down and go to a toe tap, sometimes no stride. And honestly, all of these are the same. If we're leg kicking or we're toe tapping or we're no striding, it's all the same, but we're still loading into that backside, getting the hands back early. So I was a hitter. I got to AA. I was a bad athlete, couldn't run, couldn't field. I played college in the SEC and the ACC. I did very well. Well, I did very well in the ACC after I transferred out of my freshman year of the SEC. But I knew how to cheat and hit a fastball. I wasn't the best hitter. I was a switch hitter. Right-handed, I had great mechanics. I could stay inside the baseball, drive it everywhere. Lefty, I was awful mechanically, but I had good intuitive timing. So I knew how to cheat, and I could still get the ball out, and I hit a lot of home runs because I knew how to hit the fastball. So this is a thing we can be taught. But I learned at a young age, and I didn't even know I was doing it correctly. It was just probably because I was so aggressive. I would go early and keep my balance. But when I look back, the best years I had and the best I swung the bat, and I was always really good, and it makes sense now looking back, when guys were in the stretch. So when guys are in the stretch and their hands break, it is this easy cue. Their hands break, we go. So now you go watch most college games. My son is at a mid-major D1. When I go watch the hitters there, most of the guys, when the hands break, they're still staying there. They wait till the ball's up here to get started. So in my, I'm watching, I'm like, go, go, go. And they're all a half a beat to a beat slow from getting their movement pattern started. Because if we can get to the hitting position on time, we're going to be much more successful. If we can get to here as the ball is thrown, then the rest of it, our talent takes over, our practice takes over. But if we're not started and the ball's thrown, then we start to go, we rush and it exacerbates our bad mechanics. So from the stretch, super easy. Guys, hands break, we go. Hand comes out of the ball, we go. Wind-up's a little harder because you kind of got to time it, but it's kind of the same thing. When the hands break, start getting in timing. And I tell people all the time, lefty could be walking out to the mound right now, and I could start. And I could even just be doing this. And then he goes, and I go. I can never almost start too early as long as I can keep my balance. So you would rather start too early. Now, if you're not strong enough to control the balance, that's when we can kind of tone down. We don't need a big leg kick. We don't even need a leg kick. But we should have some back before forward. I personally like just a little one because most guys are good enough to do that. But if we do a little one and we keep the upper body relaxed, we're going to get to that hitting position on time. So we're looking to get to this position, the Major League Baseball position. You look at it, that's what it looks like on the logo. We're looking to get to the logo when the ball's about being released. Not the ball's being released, then we're trying to get to position. We need to already be at that position. Start with a hit, hit, hit approach. Hit, 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 then take. So if I'm up there, I'm thinking hit, 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 take. Hit, 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 take. Now, most kids I think are take, 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 hit, and it's too late. So it's more our approach. First, start with a hit, 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 take approach. So you should always be thinking, hit every pitch. If you get to a 3-0 count and your coach gives you the take sign, start early and pretend like you're gonna be on time. Use those 3-0 counts. Use those automatic takes as practice to start earlier and feel what it feels like to be on time correctly. Second, the Dominicans, they have a saying, you can't walk off the island. What that means is by taking strikes, and again, this goes back to youth baseball in America. They're trying to win games. They're telling kids to take strikes, walk. We get to the big leagues by hitting the baseball and getting hits. because hitting is the hardest thing to do in sports. Hence, you can't walk off the island. So like here, this is the field I grew up practicing on. And you look, it's not great, right? I got to play AA. I got to play it at the big colleges. And I didn't see a guy who threw over 80 in my high school seasons ever. So like, it's not necessarily about where you're playing. You're all trying to get off the island to get to keep playing. Now, so if you're a coach and your son swings at a fastball and it's over the middle of the plate and it's up by his eyes, don't yell at him for that. Eyes to toes, we probably should be swinging if it's over the plate at that age. We want to be aggressive. We want to learn what we can hit. As we get older, we can tone down the aggressiveness. The only guy I can think of that hasn't gotten better with that is Javi Baez. Javi Baez swung at everything and he still does. So he's the outlier. Most guys, as they get older, I swung at everything. I remember I had a player, I was an A-ball in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Teammate of mine made fun of me, Greg Sane. I jumped and hit a pitch. I don't remember if I got a hit on it or I flew out, but I literally left my feet left-handed to put a ball in play. Now that's probably not recommended, but now a couple years from but I was still playing, because I hit the ball and I would drive in runs. And I noticed that each year it became easier to not swing at certain pitches because you do need to see it in the reps. So to me, you learn by swinging and then we can bring it back. So the tips would be, you want to cheat, but with good timing. We cheat, we start early. If you want to think I hate the term ambushing a fastball, because ambushing a fastball is what we should be doing. We should be looking for fastballs. We should be starting early, getting to the hitting position. I'm gonna get that fastball, hit. Oh, it's a break mold, take. Now we're 1-0. Now we're gonna get that fastball. Now when we do this and we're very aggressive, we do have to learn as you get older and you're stronger not to muscle up and not to be too big. So it's a slow, early, balanced. Slow, early, balanced with a mindset of hit, then possibly take. Mindset, slow, early, hit. Pitcher's hands break, we go. Pitcher's hands break, we go. It's a dance. When the ball comes out, so the ball should be here and we're getting to that hitting position. So that's something you could do. Like when I started switch hitting late in the game, but I switch hit all through college and pro ball. So I would do at night, I would just sit there, boom, and just do this. I would learn to get to the hitting position. And getting to the hitting position is the most important thing we can learn to do. If I got to the hitting position on time, it didn't matter that my swing was bad and it was long. I still was able to make good contact because I was on time. So on time can actually cover up a lot of swing mechanical mistakes, because I was a guy who had a great mechanical swing righty and a terrible one lefty. But because I knew how to cheat and be on time, I was successful. So when we look at it, being on time is the most important thing. So keep swinging, slow, early, and try it next time. Try it when your dad's throwing you BP or the flip guy. Just start super early, and just be balanced. Let the foot come down soft, slow, early, and then explode.